Hello everyone, welcome to Scaria.com. I'm Dr. Hina Khan and today we're going to discuss the congenital eyelid defects over here. So the congenital eyelid defects are basically one of the most challenging problems that are faced out there by the reconstructive surgeons. First of all, we're going to discuss the eyelid anatomy in detail. So the different anatomical structures that are related to these pathologies that will be discussed over here. For example, the different gland abnormalities, the different structural abnormalities that can be related to these eyelid problems that are again congenital or by birth defects that are faced by the babies. So over here, particularly, we'll be discussing the eyelid examination. Whenever we have to examine the eyelid, we do not need any special instruments out there, just a complete relevation of all the anatomical structures out there. That is the most significant point that is going to be discussed over here. Then we're going to move on to the collobomas. So collobomas are basically the ringed defects that are encountered again congenitally by the newborns. We're going to discuss the clinical features, that is the signs and symptomatologies that are related to these collobomas, and again the complications that are related to these clinical situations and how we are going to treat these newborns or infants that are facing these pathological problems of collobomas out there. Then we're going to move on to the epicanthal folds. That is again one of the prior pathologies that is faced by the infants. Usually the medial canthus rather than the lateral canthus is involved over here, and we're going to discuss what can be the signs and symptoms or the clinical features that are related to these epicanthal folds. Again, how can we clinically diagnose such patients, then the treatments or the treatment modalities out there, whether it can be the surgical treatments or the medical treatments that are available out there that is related to this condition that will be discussed over here in this lecture. Then the congenital entropion. Obviously, when we say there are basically these two conditions, one is the entropion and on the other hand, we have ectropion. The congenital condition mostly seen is the entropion, that is the inward eversion of the lower eyelid usually. Upper eyelid is not involved in most of the cases. It's usually the lower eyelid that is inwardly inverted, and that is causing these clinical signs and symptoms in the person or in the infant. We'll be dealing with the clinical features of this congenital entropion, and then thereafter we'll be discussing the treatment modalities that are out there available for treating this condition, which is known as entropion. Bilateral blepharophimosis is basically whenever we say that the levator palpebrae fissure is narrowed down. That is the definition that is related to this condition, and we'll be dealing what are the conditions that are directly or indirectly related to this blepharophimosis. Some of these syndromes, again, whenever we say there is a bilateral blepharophimosis syndrome, it's usually associated with the other features, and that will be discussed over here. What are the clinical features and how can we diagnose? As even a general physician, you should know how to diagnose a case of bilateral blepharophimosis and what can be the complications that are related to this condition. When we relate the complications to a particular condition, we are also going to give you the treatment modalities or the treatment outlines that are available for this condition. And that will be also discussed over here in this particular lecture. Finally and foremostly, we'll be discussing the congenital ptosis. So ptosis can be defined as the drooping of the eyelid. So this drooping can again be congenital, it can be again acquired, but over here, as this lecture is only focusing on the congenital conditions, so we'll be moving on to describe the congenital causes of this drooping of the eyelid. That is again going to be related to the anatomical structures that are giving way to the eyelid, and how can an eyelid droop down to a level that the scleral show is pathologically affected over here. How can we clinically diagnose such cases of congenital ptosis? Or what are the complications that are related to this ptosis condition? Then what are the surgical treatments that are available out there to treat this condition, which is known as congenital ptosis? So thanks for watching, and to get an overview of a complete lecture, you have to get a complete access to watch this complete lecture that is regarding the congenital eyelid defects over here.